Hey, welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to talk about how to sew lingerie strap guards. Are you someone who has experience with a mix of sewing but wants to get into the niche of bridal sewing? Well, welcome to Bridal Sewing Techniques. This channel is for you. Okay, so your client is really struggling with her dress. The straps of the dress do not align with her bra straps. So there's a couple things to do. To completely fix it, you really should move the bra straps a little bit on the bra. We often alter bras. You can also sew in a set of lingerie strap guards. All right, so here's a springy little needle and some nice thick thread. This is a cotton thread. And what you're gonna do is first you're gonna sew on half of the snap to the inside of the strap. Now, I'm not gonna bore you with all of the details, but I'm gonna lock that knot, and then I'm gonna speed things up for you real quick and sew this snap on. You're gonna want, one or two loops per hole in the snap. And then you're gonna knot your thread, at least 3 knots is what I usually do, and then hide the tail through the fabric, and you can cut the tail off, or you can, after you knot it off, you can tunnel it through, bring it back up on the other side of the strap, and there you can start your chain tack for the other half of the snap. Now, before I get into this too deeply, I just want to give you a layout of what to expect for this video. As I said before, I know who my target audience is just seamsters who already know about a mix of sewing but are looking to get into bridal. But I also know the reality of who watches my videos. It's not just those kind of people. We also have visitors, welcome, that happen to Google us and they're just looking for one little fix for their own personal sewing, and that's okay too. You guys are welcome here too. So I'm actually going to show you 2 different ways to make this lingerie strap guard, because like everything, there's usually more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. So if you don't feel like learning the full-on bridal professional chain stitch tack kind of thing, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and show you first off a quick way to put in a lingerie strap guard using only square knots. And that's going to make it a super quick fix for those of you who just really don't want to delve too deeply into sewing. So let's do that first on the first strap, and then next I will show you how to actually do the correct chain tack that we do for the lingerie strap guard, and then we're going to compare the 2 side by side so that you can see how they look different, and we'll talk about if they function different or not. All right, let's go. So basically you're just going to pull your thread halfway through. This thread is pretty much quadrupled through the needle, so I've put 2 ends of thread through it and pulled it halfway through, so it's making 4. And then I'm just going to do a series of square knots, just like the first step of tying your shoe. And you're just going to do it over and over. You'll also kind of remember this from friendship bracelets if you were, into that thing back in the 80s. And you're going to test the length out as you go. You're going to want the length to extend just a shade beyond that snap, because when you slide the snap on, see how I'm sliding the other half of the snap on there, some of that length is going to be gobbled up by it being knotted to the snap. So I'm just going to go ahead and knot this at least 3 times, and then I'm going to take the needle and tuck the tail through that the chain of square knots that we just made. And then I'm going to knot that again, and then I'm going to just put a touch of the clear hypo cement on there just because I'm like obsessive about my knots not coming undone. But if you don't have any of that clear cement that you see in this demo video, don't stress about it. So yeah, you just saw me tuck the tail like twice, and then I'll cement it, and then it'll snap together beautifully. So I'm just testing out the tension, making sure there's enough of a loop in there to allow the bra strap to come through. All right, we are on a roll, and we are starting on the other strap now, and this time we're going to do what they call a crochet stitch, or a French tack, or chain tack or a tagging tack. There's all these different names for this. But basically, you're going to start with your knot and you're going to make that really secure. And then you're going to stitch back through, and you're not going to pull it all the way through. You're going to leave a loop. Now, there is a sister video to this that I just uploaded yesterday. And it's going to show you this very step that I'm doing, how I'm pulling this through the loop. It's going to show you that in slow-mo. So if this is not in enough detail for you, definitely go check that one out. It's talking about chain tacking. You can search chain tacking in the title and find it. But basically, you're going to reach through that loop that you left when you were pulling the thread through, and you're going to grab the thread that is coming out of the eye of the needle, and you're just going to pull that down to the base of your tagging tack. And I'm going really slow for you to be able to see the detail. Sewing slowly, though, is not the same as sewing at full speed and then slowing it down to slow-mo. So it just depends on how you learn. This, to me, seems a little clunky, me doing it really slow, because this is actually a very, very fast stitch. So definitely check out that other video if you can't tell from this what I'm doing. But I don't know, it seems pretty clear to me. It just doesn't seem smooth. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions, as always. And of course, if you have any other ways that you like to do this or other applications, please share that with us. We love to learn from the community here, and we know that we all have different tricks and different things to share. And none of us are, none of us are queen around here. We all have things to learn. So now when you reach the end of the length that you need, you're going to pull that thread through all the way, including the needle, so that you can lock that crochet stitch. This is truly like a crochet stitch. If you weren't to pull that all the way through and to knot the end like I'm doing here, it would come unraveled. So I just knotted the end of it, and now I'm going to sew that to the other half of the snap. And just like the other strap showed you, some of your length is going to be gobbled up by the knotting to the snap. So you just want to make it just a little bit longer than you think you should. And as always, I'm going to knot this several times and hypo cement it. If you ever have a question about any of the products that I use, I do have a products page on my website. You can always visit me over there at bridalsewingtechniques.com. And you can also learn about how you can come and spend a retreat week with me and learn all the backroom tips for running a full-time bridal sewing business. And then, like I said, it's got product information on there as well. So I'd love to see you over there. But I'm just thrilled to see you hanging out on my channel as well. I always make sure to tell my client to always be careful to pry the snaps apart by putting their nail or a nail file or something between the two pieces of snap, but not to pull it apart. And here's the two that you can compare. On the left is the one made with square knots. On the right is the one made with the chain tacking. As you can see, the one on the left is just a little bit lumpier looking, but I think it seems just as strong. Don't forget, if you want to see this in slow-mo, check out my other video, How and When to Chain Tack. I hope this has helped you. Please leave any questions or comments down below. Please also like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell.